opinions expressed on KYND 1520 talk programs are those of the host, guest, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its owners, management, other hosts, or advertisers. Show topics on this station may include conversations on any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practices. KYND, a Synergy Broadcasting Company.
Welcome to Natural Nation Network, the show that pulls back the layers of confusion on health issues and gives you access to accurate information that can help you get off of medications, reach optimal health, and live your best life. Ready to help someone you care about change their life? Contact them right now. The conversation's about to get started. Here's your host, Oscar Hines.
And good morning, Houston. You're on the air with the Natural Nation Network. I know Trent and Richard were chopping it up earlier, lots of fun. But the fun will continue, and I absolutely guarantee you this will be a fascinating show. I'm so excited to have in the studio the type of person that many of us want to talk to, but don't often get a chance to connect with. And sometimes you hear these things and we just maybe misunderstand what some of these, what we might call metaphysical powers are, but they exist out there. And it's important for us to be able to explore all sorts of topics. So I am so delighted to have in the studio with me this morning a psychic, Miss Victoria Alvarado, right? Welcome to the show, Victoria. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Wow. Well, I have to tell you, anytime, I mentioned that, hey, I met this psychic. She's a beautiful spirit. She's very warm. And I was telling people about the fact that you would be on the show. Everybody was excited. They're like, I've got to tune into that. So do you find there's just a general fascination when you say, yeah, I'm a psychic or a medium?
Every time I meet people and they're like, you're a psychic? Okay, well, tell me what's going on with me right now. And I'm like, I'm off.
It's like a doctor. Hey, I got this arm hurting or something, right?
Right. I was like, I have to set some sort of boundaries so that I don't over-exert my energy.
Yes. So maybe what we can do is talk a little bit about how this all started for you and how this kind of came about. Okay.
Well, I as far as I know, I've always had this ability since I was a child, according to my family.
Okay.
They would tell me about little things that I would say off the wall at 5 years old, and they would happen, and then eventually they would tell me just to kind of shut up.
Wow.
But it wasn't until maybe 19, 20 years old is when I started noticing it more after my grandfather passed away.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
After my grandfather passed away, it's like he started coming to me in my dreams and telling me things. He started to show me premonitions, and so it just kind of progressed from there. I had a natural curiosity with it.
So you saw your grandfather after passing in your dreams. Did he still appear just like he did in real life, or how did that?
No, actually, he was a lot younger. Very handsome. He was about in his 30s. And when I asked why he was so young, it's almost like they were telling me, or he was telling me, that he was the age of when Jesus passed away around 30, 32. So we all are that age when no matter how old we pass, we're that age when we on the other side.
Wow. So what's curious about that is I'm hearing you say that Jesus died at 33 years old. And if you look at the physiology, they say that that's when we reach the absolute full age of maturity at 33. Some people think, oh, well, I'm 20 or 25, I'm grown up. But your body's still maturing and changing until you hit the optimal age, which is just above your 30s. So that's curious that you say that.
And, I noticed that my intuition, my psychic abilities started to get stronger around 33, 34 years old.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. So you had this gift and it started to sort of get sharper after your grandfather passed. How does it come to you? What do you see or feel when you get a vision?
Well, it's different every time. It's either I sense something, I sense the energy around the person. Sometimes I get little flashes of photos, that I have to describe, or sometimes it'll be one or two words that I will hear. And so, as I said, it's different every time with the person's situation.
So you have like either, but it would happen when you tune in, or you just walk in someone's presence and then boom, all of a sudden starts flashing. what
Actually,
happens
that's
there?
exactly
Yeah?
how it is. It's
Really?
almost like I see someone and I'm like, wait, like, why am I seeing that with that person? And it's almost like, should I go over there and tell that person what I'm seeing, or do I not? Because what if they don't react the right way? Now, if it's something that is life or death situation, then of course I'm obligated to say, hey, I need to tell you something, or hey, be careful driving because I see this, or something that's very, very, drastic. I have to speak up and say something.
Wow. So that evokes two questions for me. The first is, if you saw someone, let's say, that was getting into an accident that could potentially even be fatal, could you alter that outcome by going and saying something to them? Or is it like, what is that, fatal destination?
Final destination.
Final destination,
Right.
where if something's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Well, it's hard to answer that, because there are times where I've told someone and they didn't listen. And it's almost like, hey, don't go right today when you go to work, go left.
Yeah.
And they go right anyway, and they still end up having that accident.
Wow.
So maybe there was something that they needed to learn, because there have been several times that I've told someone, hey, you need to be careful because I see you having an accident. And you're like, okay. And then boom, it happens. They're like, I just had an accident. Well, I just told you.
Wow.
Wow. So it's all about free will, I think. If you listen or not, it's your choice.
Mm-hmm. But you said it might be something that they have to learn through that experience.
Exactly.
Now, are they creating that or inviting that experience into their life, or is there some kind of predetermination that this would happen?
What I'm hearing right now, in my head right now, I heard the word skepticism.
Yeah.
So if someone doesn't listen, it's something that, if they're skeptic, maybe they needed to learn that there's something about that she's just said that and it happened. And so next time they'll listen. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So if they are skeptic and they tend to just simply focus on, this is questionable or doubtful, because to be honest, at some point in my life, I think I probably would have been somewhat skeptical. I've seen enough now to sort of say, there's something to this. It's not, I got to that point in my own evolution where I was a skeptic that sort of transformed.
Well, there are times where I write about it on Facebook that my angels told me something, and I was like, yeah, no, whatever. I'm not going to listen. And then later on, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I should have listened to you, Uh-huh. But I mean, to me, it's like there's a little bit of a stubbornness. Like, it's almost like, no, it's not going to happen if I just don't pay attention, But then it happens, and you're like, oh, I should have listened,
Wow. So then kind of going back to that scenario where you see somebody and you feel kind of an obligation to say something to them, how do they normally receive that when you say something to them about it?
Well, it's different for everyone, because it's only happened maybe 4 times, and they're a little more careful. They'll say, oh, I avoided that accident that, it happened right in front of me, that I didn't just take off, mm-hmm. and I was more cautious in my surroundings. And then other people, they're like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, or, oh, no, that's not going to happen. And so later on, hey, Victoria, you remember when you said, well, it happened, and I probably should have listened to you, and I didn't, but now I know next time. And they're like, hey, is there anything else you need to say to me? Is there anything else that you need to warn me about,
Yeah. Now all of a sudden they're like all ears, right? It's like, right. Okay, I'm listening to you now. You were right about that first one. It's kind of funny, and I asked that question because one time, I'm a health and wellness guy. And one of the things that I've learned over the years is how to read people's bodies, like the body shows different signs. Now, for men, and by the way, listeners, this is somewhat interesting piece that you want to pay attention to, especially men that are over 40. I look at their earlobe. So if they have a crease running down their earlobe, vertically or horizontally, that's a pretty good indicator that there's a cardiovascular blockage in their heart. Mm-hmm. And I was in the post office one time, and I looked at this guy's ears, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, this guy might be ready to have a heart attack. He may not even know he has blockages. But I'm feeling this awkward weirdness, like, how do you come up to someone and say, this is going to sound weird, but because of your ears, I can tell you're probably going to have a heart attack. And so I just said, all right, you know what? I could save this guy's life. So I sucked it up, and I came up to him. I said, hey, sir, I'm a holistic, I qualified what I was going to say. And I said, your body is giving me some indication that there is cardiovascular blockages on your left side. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to share that with you. You may want to get it checked out. And he looks at me like he saw a ghost. He goes, oh my gosh. He goes, how do you know that? He said, I just went in last week and I got this CT scan or whatever it was, and they said that I had 80% blockage on the left side of my heart ventricle, whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh. He goes, he said, so they're recommending a bypass or something. And I said, well, the bypass is an option, or you could do there's some natural things you can do to clear out those blockages. And I gave him some suggestions, and he was very grateful. So do you find that people tend to be appreciative of the advice, even if they don't know you or who you are?
Actually, yes. A lot of the times when I meet people, same as how you were able to detect that, mm-hmm. I actually feel the pain in my body.
Wow.
So if I'm standing next to someone, I'll have chest pains or back pains or pains in my arm, and I'll have to say, I have to tell you who I am and what I do, and I'm getting this energy shift in my body telling me that there's something going on with you. What does this mean to you when I say, okay, I'm feeling a pain in my shoulder? This is the indication to me that you have a lot of responsibility on your plate and it's stressing you out.
Yes.
And they're like, what?
That's spot on.
Yeah. And so they're intrigued. They want to know more. But I can only give so much information, only until I only give as much as the angels will allow me to, if that makes sense. So once I give the message, the pain that I have goes away.
Wow. So okay, because I'm listening, and there's some crossover stuff here that you're talking about, and by crossover, what I mean that's kind of fascinating is that in the holistic energy work, so for some years I did a couple of things. One of them is called craniosacral therapy. So when you connect with somebody, you will feel a certain pain in an area, and there's a pain transference that's taking place when you connect with someone. That's why most energy healers, Reiki healers, even chiropractors and massage therapists have to clear the energy once they work on someone, because you can take on the physical symptoms. So you're saying that happens to you on a regular basis when you connect with someone?
Yes, actually it does. It does. And that's also how those loved ones that are crossed over with mediumship, how they communicate with me on how they passed or what happened. And so everybody's different. Not every medium is the same, and not every medium experiences it. It's almost like it's how you work with spirit. And so I am also an angel Reiki master. So, of course, I tune into the energy. I use my intuition, my intuitive side, to scan the person's body, or sometimes even when I'm not trying, it just happens.
Wow. So when you qualify it by saying an angel Reiki master, how would you differentiate that from general Reiki technique?
Well, with the technique is that I bring in the angels and I utilize them to show me what's going on. Which is different. And just with Reiki, you just kind of feel the energy of the person's body. Mm-hmm. I allow the angels to show me intuitively, and also for me to sense it's like a combination of the two.
Wow. Fascinating. Okay, wow. We are talking to Miss Victoria Alvarado, psychic, And we don't call you a clairvoyant, though, or do we? Is that part of what you do as a psychic and clairvoyant?
Yes, I'm actually, I have several clairs. I'm clairvoyant, clairaudient, and clairsentient.
Ooh, we're going to find out what all of that means, folks. We're talking to Ms. Victoria Alvarado. You're listening to the Natural Nation Network. Don't go anywhere. Tune back in just a moment after these messages. Let's find out what those definitions are. So we'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to KYND radio station, KYND, inspiring the kind of change to help you live your best life.
The power of a community lies in the strength of its leaders. Throughout history, powerful leaders have emerged to help guide our community through difficult times. When a leader emerges, they make a commitment to the ones they serve to help them through challenges, encourage them to move to greater heights, and to celebrate them when they have victories. For more than 21 years, Bayway Lincoln has celebrated our diversity and supported our communities. Bayway Lincoln, a part of the Bayway Auto Group, a family-owned auto group, is one of the fastest-growing dealers in Houston. Bayway Lincoln has been awarded the prestigious Triple Crown Award for quality service. Bayway Lincoln, Volkswagen of the Woodlands, Bayshore Dodge, Bayway Volvo. The Bayway family has been longtime champions of diversity and would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the leaders of the past and encourage the leaders of the future. We invite you to come and find out what's made Bayway Lincoln an award-winning dealership for over 2 decades. Go to baywaylincoln.com or call 281-929-6500. That's 281-929-6500. Bayway Lincoln, strengthening our community for a better tomorrow.
This is Carla J, inviting you to join the new Sound Off with Carla J as we discuss pop culture, today's music, hottest gossip, sports, and a whole lot more. It's going to be crazy. You'll never know what shenanigans the guys will be up to and who'll be visiting the studio. Thursdays, 6 p.m. here on 1520 KYND.
Apple and Android users, be sure and download the KYND radio app and don't miss Sound Off with Carla J on 1520 KYND.
Yo, what up, world? That's right, Carl Mays, King Motivator, KYND 1520. You better keep it locked. I'm telling you, if you want to stay focused, you want to be great, you want to get what you need, I got you. That's right, another day, another chance.
The power of a community lies in the strength of its leaders. Throughout history, powerful leaders have emerged to help guide our community through difficult times. When a leader emerges, they make a commitment to the ones they serve to help them through challenges, encourage them to move to greater heights, and to celebrate them when they have victories. For more than 21 years, Bayway Lincoln has celebrated our diversity and supported our communities. Bayway Lincoln, a part of the Bayway Auto Group. On the air everywhere. Everywhere. The powerful 1520.
We are back. You're listening to the Natural Nation Network here on KYND Radio 1520. In the studio with us, Miss Victoria Alvarado, psychic, clairvoyant, clairaudient, and clairsentient.
Yes.
Did I cover all those bases?
Yes, you sure did.
Okay, so if you could for us, Victoria, define each of those for our audience to understand what that means.
Okay, so clairvoyant or clair means clear. So clairvoyant means clear seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Clairaudient is clear hearing. Clairsentient is clear feeling, which means that I can hear, sense, and see spirit and able to communicate those messages to my client.
Wow. So in a clairvoyant sense, you're able to kind of see into their future or their lives potentially.
Yes, but I normally use clairsentient for that to kind of feel the emotion behind what's going on. And I use that to scan the person's body as well, to get a good sense of what's happening.
Yeah. Wow. So I don't normally talk too much personally, but I'm going to just share this with the audience because we were talking just before the show. And when I met you on a TV set a few weeks back. And of course I was fascinated, but we looked at each other, our eyes locked, and it was this familiarity. And when we had that familiarity, it was funny because, I definitely knew I had to speak with you, right? And then you were sharing with me what you saw when you had seen me. And can you share with the audience what that was?
Okay, so, obviously when I could not stop looking at you, so I was like...
Not because I'm strikingly handsome, nothing like that.
Well, it was that too, of course, but there was more to it. I was like, I felt like I knew you, and I felt like something was going on, and automatically Spirit was telling me, he's writing a book.
And you are exactly right. I didn't broadcast that, so I don't know how she knew that, but yeah, I'm writing a book. Exactly.
And as we were talking and I was telling you, I was like, and tell him it's going to be a 2-part series, like a volume 1, volume 2. Wow. And at the same time, I saw a lot of men dancing with little brass skirts or hay straw skirts and drumming at the same time. And as I said, there was a stick with fire on either end, and they were twirling it. Kind of like like when you're in Hawaii, they have those little shows.
Yes.
And I was like, there's something about him with African American heritage and dancing. And I was like, I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah.
And then that first, like I said, well, that's when I found out you were on the radio. And I said, well, Spirit, why didn't you just tell me he was on the radio? Why did you show me dancing and all the other stuff? So.
Yeah. Well, but then I was just sharing with you just before, you were exactly on point because I'm a salsa dancer, and the type of salsa dancing that I love and gravitate to is nice percussion and beats. And people always say, gosh, I love the way you move. And that exact description you had about that movement, that's how I move my feet. I'm jumping and jerking and doing all of that stuff. And people love it. I mean, I love it. It's great exercise. But that's what you were seeing. That's fascinating. Wow.
And so that's a little bit of how clairvoyance works.
Yeah.
Is the little pictures or sometimes it's almost like a movie projector playing in my head, but just for a short little moment.
Wow. Fascinating. So let me ask you this, because a lot of people think about this and they'll say, you seem so familiar to me. It's like we've known each other in a past life or something. What's your thought around past lives and previous existence and all of that?
Well, we all have many people that we meet that are in our soul group, okay, or a part of our soul family. And so I like to think that we reincarnate with people in our soul family or soul group, whether it's soul family would be like your sister-in-law, brother-in-law, your cousin, immediate family. And we've all shared different souls, different past lives with each other because maybe there's certain lessons that we need to learn from each other. And sometimes, when we go through divorce, maybe that lesson was already learned and now it's time to start a new chapter.
Wow. So this soul group, can you define that a little bit more? Because I understand the physical family piece, but are you saying that they're sort of a aggregate of souls that sort of travel along journeys and centuries together? What does that mean?
Yeah, when I think of soul group, it's just like people that are a part of your journey, that are part of the group to help you go through a specific path or go down a specific path. It's not necessarily a family member, but it could be a friend that you meet that is there just for a short period of time to connect you with the right people, or to connect you to other people that are in your soul group, which is a part of your current journey in your life.
And when you think about, and I know some of this is just opinion questions, you are flesh and blood, right?
Right.
So, but when you think about people's lessons, like some people, like one of my favorite relationship questions, if I meet someone, that I will always ask them, it is said that life presents lessons over and over again until we finally learn what those lessons are. And then my question is, what lessons has life taught you? So I like that question because it usually evokes some very interesting responses. Now, in your opinion, when you have someone that is involved with someone else and then, they keep running into that lesson, do you think that those two souls keep on reconverging to finally teach that lesson, or how does that work in your paradigm?
Well, in my lifestyle, or what I do, what I found is that my son, my oldest son, he's, and I hate this, I don't like to go personal with it, but I have to say that he was my husband in another life.
Wow.
And so we incarnated together in this life where we're having to learn to break something that was not fixed in that other life. Whether it was me saying, you can no longer control me, or whether there was healing there that needed to be done in order to heal within this life, so that we don't reincarnate and we learn our lessons and go our separate way.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if we find that we are reincarnating, or we develop a pattern, because when it comes to relationships, okay, you find that if you don't fix or heal from a past relationship, you develop a pattern where it's a cycle and it's an endless loop of the same thing. Whether it's abuse, or being with someone who's narcissistic, being with someone who just brings emotional pain, it's either the person themselves need to learn their own self-value and self-worth, or self-love, or forgiveness, whatever it is. Once you figure that out, you break that cycle, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see that even like in the therapeutic sense. Therapeutically, there's a lot to be said about people trying to break through those barriers. Now, so I have a friend, and of course I won't disclose too much because I'm sure they're listening, but they never had children, but yet they have been told when they went through some readings that they were, in fact, had or was going to have a child, and that child was forcefully removed, and sort of they were traumatized in a previous existence. And then when they were scanned, almost physically, the womb appeared as if a child had been miscarried or something, but yet they'd never had a child, and now they're beyond childbearing years. So are there physical remnants to somebody's psychic energy from a previous existence? Does that happen?
I like to call it fragments. It's fragments of your past life that are brought over, that sometimes you have to clear that. And then I've also done soul retrievals, or soul fragments, or soul pieces that need to be put in, so that the lesson is already learned, that we've already gone through that, so we don't need to keep going through this. We've already learned. Let's integrate that lesson, so that way now we can change it. And as you were speaking of that, I did feel that she had, or they had, 3 children in a previous life.
3. Wow. Okay. Wow. That's interesting. I'm sure she'll listen to this and go, oh my gosh, because she'll probably want to speak with you directly. And you're able, just through my thought of that person, to perceive something about that person, obviously.
Right, because it's all energy. So it's like I'm able to tap into that energy somehow, just to kind of, as I said, it's almost like I tuned out a little bit, and I saw a little bit of a glimpse of what happened or what was being said.
Wow, wow, wow. Fascinating. So then these fragments that you put back into a person, so when we go through the birth process, when we literally, go through the womb and back into this physical plane, is there an erasing of the memory? I mean, what happens? Why can't we remember what happened previously?
Well, that is a good question because, for me, it's almost like I have to go into meditation to remember bits and pieces of my past life. Or for me, I also use charts. I use dowsing charts to help me pinpoint what happened, or if I'm having an issue, what happened at that time, or what year, or what was it in AD or BC time? What was the environment like when this fragment happened, so that I can clear it and reintegrate it into my four-body system or my cellular memory, so that way we can stop the rip, if that makes sense. It's like it's hard to describe, but it's like it's almost like, how do we integrate or bring in that energy so that we can clear the issue or the obstacle that we're experiencing here. Yes. Then, when you hypnotize someone, because it's pretty much what happens, is that you take them into a deep sleep, or you kind of go in and pick past life memories. You find the lifeline. You open up the Akashic records to find out what happened. They start to recall. And for example, one of my clients had a fear of water. And when we researched, found out, and I was shown pictures of this person being a sailor. In another life, this person was a different gender at a different time and died out in sea.
Wow.
So that soul fragment followed here as fear, and if we clear it, they no longer have the fear of water.
Interesting. Yeah, it's fascinating because I've seen people with inexplicable phobias. Like I remember my brother, who is, this guy's like 3rd-degree black belt ninja, like Sergeant Major Marine. He's that guy, a G.I. Joe. But you can't put a mushroom near this guy or he freaks out. Sometimes I mess with him. There's a mushroom, buddy. So is that like some remnant, you think? Maybe he was poisoned by a mushroom or something?
Yeah, actually, yes. And matter of fact, I have allergies to cats, and I love animals. I love cats, but I can't be around them. And when I researched my records or asked Spirit what happened, I was killed by a cat in like a parallel life. The cats were huge and they killed me, and so now it's like a natural protective thing that I have, that I'm going to have allergies to cats so that I don't have that repeat again.
But now you just evoked this question. Then you say killed by a cat. Are you talking about a large cat, like a tiger
or something
like that? Okay. Wow. Yeah. So it still has that same effect. Mm-hmm. Now, what about Chinese signs? Because I'm a tiger, so that's my Chinese sign. I don't know. Does that ever enter the picture, the horoscope, or any of those?
No,
things?
I think that's something different.
Yeah.
It's just...
Okay. Phew. Because I was going to say, I hope you're not afraid of me, Victoria, because I think you're awesome, man. This is interesting stuff. So, and I know we're going to come up on a break, and I didn't want to open this one up yet, but you do a number of different things, and earlier. When we were off air, we were talking for a few moments, and this is kind of, and I'll invite, and I should have done this earlier, invite audience call-ins. I haven't given out the number, but folks, those listening that might have an interest in asking Victoria, our psychic and clairvoyant, question, 832-230-5592. Again, that's 832-230-5592. Feel free to give us a call if you have a question. Now, and I'll give that number out again, but of course I want you all to myself. I'm a little. No, that's not right. Okay, so this is something in the religious realm where people look at a psychic and they kind of say, oh, that's evil, that's satanic. But you were explaining there's dark and there's light. Can you expound on that a little bit?
Right. So we all have dark and light energy, almost like a yin and yang kind of type thing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that dark and light energy, we have to make a choice on which side we're going to choose. Okay. For me, I chose the light because light is not more powerful than the dark. You know, it's just, you get more blessings in that way, in that aspect. But, you know, I think that people look at what I do with a negative connotation because there are a lot of people that chose to use their gifts for bad versus using the gift to help others.
Yes. Well, which makes sense because I've felt people that have had some kind of, you know, evil intentions. There's times when I've literally felt that negative energy, and that's bothered me, you know, a lot. So there is that, both that good and bad energy, right? Yeah. Okay, well, let's take a caller. Good morning, EJ. You are on the air with Victoria.
Good morning. I'm glad that you're there today. Interesting show. I wanted to know, for me, why is it seems that people don't like me or it's hard to make friends? I don't know necessarily. I'm not sure how to ask it, but I get that a lot.
Well, you know what it is that you're on a different energy vibration than other people, and they sense that. And normally when you have a higher vibration or you carry a higher energy of light, that those people that are on a lower vibration or not on the same path feel that, and then maybe they're afraid of it, or they're like, oh, I just don't want to talk to this person, you know, because their energy feels different. And you can become a misunderstood, and that's what it is that oftentimes people are misunderstood because they're being prejudged. And I feel that people prejudge you when you are just a wonderful person. You're just like, if people knew you as a person, they would see that you are a very loyal and loving and giving person.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
And so, and you know, I get that a lot too. It's hard for me to make friends, you know, not just because I'm a psychic, but because my energy is different. You know? And when you find like-minded people, you'll find that it's so much easier for you to be yourself.
Okay.
Does that resonate with you, EJ?
Very much so. Very
Wonderful.
much so.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you've got some great energy. So don't let them deter you. Okay, great. Well, our phone call, the phone lines are lighting up. Rhonda, good morning. You are on the air with Victoria.
Good morning. How are you?
Fantastic.
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm just fine. Thank you for asking. I'm kind of piggybacking on the first caller because I have the same issues. I have great energy, and when it comes to friends, it's like they just want to drain me of my knowing. But it only comes. It's not consistent. It's just like it comes when it needs to.
You know, but as you're speaking to me, I'm also hearing from Spirit that people not only take advantage of you, of your energy, but it's almost like there's not a balance of giving and receiving, and it's almost like you're more on the giving end and they're more on the receiving end, and it's just not balanced property. And Spirit's saying that people, for me, I feel like either they take advantage of you because they want to use you for financially. And I'm not sure what that means, but Spirit says that it's almost like your environment, and I'm also being told that you're needing to move, or you're thinking about moving either to a different state or a different area.
Would like to move to a different state, but currently a different area. So yes, everything is correct. Everything.
Yeah, and so Spirit says give it a year because I feel like there's a lot of things that are lining up, and there's some lessons about setting boundaries that you need to learn with these people.
Correct. I understand greatly.
Wow.
That is transpiring right now. I'm setting those boundaries for those particular reasons you just stated. Just bottom to the point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Wow, Rhonda.
Yes,
well,
yes.
that's good stuff. So you've got a move coming up in your future at some point. That's going to be good, but you have to set those boundaries and realize who the parasites are versus the symbiotic relationships, right? Wow. Good stuff. Well, thank you so much Thank you so much for calling. We are up against our final break. If you have a question for Victoria, I'm seeing our social media lighting up here as well. 832-230-5592, 832-230-5592, or go to our Facebook page and make a comment. I will take a look at that. One guy just asked if a person asked if you could get a lottery ticket number. Oh. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back in just a moment.
Uh-oh. Y'all heard that? This is your boy.
The power of a community lies in the strength of its leaders. Throughout history, powerful leaders have emerged to help guide our community through difficult times. When a leader emerges, they make a commitment to the ones they serve to help them through challenges, encourage them to move to greater heights, and to celebrate them when they have victories. For more than 21 years, Bayway Lincoln has celebrated our diversity and supported our communities. Bayway Lincoln, a part of the Bayway Auto Group, a family-owned auto group, is one of the fastest-growing dealers in Houston. Bayway Lincoln has been awarded the prestigious Triple Crown Award for quality service. Bayway Lincoln, Volkswagen of the Woodlands, Bayshore Dodge, Bayway Volvo. The Bayway family has been longtime champions of diversity and would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the leaders of the past and encourage the leaders of the future. We invite you to come and find out what's made Bayway Lincoln an award-winning dealership for over 2 decades. Go to baywaylincoln.com or call 281-929-6500. That's 281-929-6500. Bayway Lincoln, strengthening our community for a better tomorrow.
This is Carla J, inviting you to join the new Sound Off with Carla J as we discuss pop culture, today's music, hottest gossip, sports, and a whole lot more. It's going to be crazy. You'll never know what shenanigans the guys will be up to and who'll be visiting the studio. Thursdays, 6 p.m. here on 1520 KYND.
Apple and Android users, be sure and download the KYND radio app and don't miss Sound Off with Carla J on 1520 KYND.
Yo, what up, world? That's right, Carl Mays, King Motivator, KYND 1520. You better keep it locked. I'm telling you, if you want to stay focused, you want to be great, you want to get what you need, I got you. That's right, another day, another chance.
The power of a community lies in the strength of its leaders. Throughout history, powerful leaders have emerged to help guide our community through difficult times. When a leader emerges, they make a commitment to the ones they serve to help them through challenges, encourage them to move to greater heights, and to celebrate them when they have victories. For more than 21 years, Bayway Lincoln has celebrated our diversity and supported our communities. Bayway Lincoln, a part of the Bayway Auto Group. KYND 1520, KYNDradio.com.
And we are back. Phone lines are lighting up for Miss Victoria Alvarado. Is in the house this morning with us. Psychic, clairvoyant, clairaudient, and clairsentient. Whew, I got all of that out in one breath. So you just have major radar. Well, I'll tell you what, we've got callers. So let me jump right back onto the phone lines. Good morning. Is this Carlin? You're on the air. Gloria, I'm sorry. You're on the air with Victoria.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, I had a question about my son. He's going through something, and I need to know what kind of advice I can give him or what he needs to do.
Okay. So let me tune into his energy, and let me just say this: is that why is it that it's with relationships that he's having a hard time communicating with others? What does this mean to you?
He's had this girlfriend, and they've been off and on, and they moved out of Texas, and now he's like just not happy, heartbroken, depressed.
Yeah, and you know the thing is that I don't want to divulge too much information on over the air, but let me just say this: is that this relationship is not a healthy one for him. I feel like he's overcompensating or overdoing things to make this person happy, but no matter what he does, this woman is not happy with him, and it's about communication, and the communication is not there. It feels like this relationship has already run its course, and now it's time to move on, but it's almost like he's at a loss. He doesn't know what to do.
Right. So it'd be best for him to walk away.
Yes, and and I know he's very stubborn.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell him all day long, but it's almost like he's one of those that needs to learn on his own. But I feel that this chapter is getting ready to be over by April.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Victoria. All right, thank you for calling. All right, and now we have Carlin up next. Good morning, Carlin.
Hey, good morning. How you doing? How you doing, Miss Victoria?
I'm doing fine. So what's going on with your career, your job that you want to talk about?
Well, I want to talk about not my career, but basically, my mother passed when I was young, and I want to know how she feel about that and things. You know, I just always wondered what she would be saying in the other world or whatever.
Well, to be honest with you, I get very strongly about the career and job, and I just feel like she wants you to be at a certain place in your life where you're able to take care of yourself. And it's almost like she's wanting you to focus more on your career because it's going to take you places right now. And it's almost like getting things in order financially. Now, she is at a happy place now, okay? And let me just say this, that there's a father-like figure up there as well. Did you have a stepdad, or was she married twice?
Yeah, I have my dad. He died last year.
Ah, okay. Okay, that's why I felt like a father-like figure. And they're together, you know, up there. So it's like they're dancing. That's what I'm seeing. I'm being told they're dancing, and they're back to their youthful self. And it's almost like I feel like I don't have any more back or hip pain or leg pain. What does this mean to you?
Back and leg pain.
With her.
With my mom?
Yes.
I don't remember. She died when she was young though.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, because I'm being told that she no longer has back or leg pain and that she's no longer going through pain. And so she's up there dancing with this father-like figure. So she's happy and content, but it's more about you getting a sense of financial security or having security right now.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
Great. Well, thank you, Carlin, for your call, and hope that helps. We'll give you all some ways to connect with Miss Victoria after the show, but let's take another caller. Veronica, good morning. You're on the air.
Hi, Victoria. This
Hi,
is
how
Veronica.
are you?
Good, thank you. So my question to you is this. I have social phobia. Could that be something from my past, or is there anything I can do to eliminate that? I mean, I really want to enjoy life now.
Well, I want to say that you're severely empathic, and so you need to start doing more shielding and learning to disconnect from people if you work on them, because you're absorbing a lot of their energy, and so you're needing to do more shielding work and maybe doing more sage baths, and maybe, there's selenite. There's a selenite crystal that they're showing me that you need to, selenite and kyanite is what they're telling me that you need to use and carry with you to kind of help deflect energies from other people.
Kyanite. Okay. And that's something I need to be wearing, like on a necklace or?
Yes, you can even
jewelry?
find it in bracelet form, I'm sure, or a pendant or earrings. But you can even maybe make your own bracelet. If you go to Michael's, you can find selenite or kyanite gemstones and make one yourself.
Okay. So then that's nothing to do with my past from.
No,
It's
this
more
has
what I'm feeling now.
No, has everything to do with your present life right now, your present moment of learning to shield yourself so that you can deflect energies of other people so that you don't absorb it.
Fascinating.
Is this something that you?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Is this something that you do with clients yourself to teach us this, or we can look over the internet, or?
Well, I do aura cleansing. So what I do is I can detach cords, psychic cords, and seal up the aura and try to help you build a shield around you.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, folks, those enjoying the show, we want to invite you to share. We would like to get this out because so far, Miss Victoria, you've been spot on with everybody that you've spoken to. So I'm sure callers are like, oh, my gosh, I don't know if I'm getting scared here, right? But you're spot on. So with our last caller, she's an empath, which means that she picks up and feels people's emotions, right?
Right.
And the crystals you're speaking of is a way for her to block or shield some of this from coming through.
Correct.
Could she sort of channel this and learn how to use it, because she has a social phobia right now because she's being bombarded by people's energy? Can she find a way to sort of hone this skill set and turn it into a power instead of a weakness?
Actually, she can, because let me just say this, is that as I was learning to utilize my abilities, I could not step foot in Walmart. The energy vibration is really, really strong. I had strong anxiety, and I didn't want to use medication or self-medicate because of the fact that it would block my abilities. So I had to learn to shield or create a super bubble of white light around me before I leave the home. And then when I come back, cleanse myself and asking spirit to vacuum away other people's attachments to me. So it's about setting a certain ritual, I guess, or that you would do every day, and to cut those cords that are linking to you.
So people just psychically or energetically attach themselves to somebody who has these capabilities.
Right, and you also have psychic vampires where people literally attach themselves. It'll look like hooks to pull on your energy vibration where it'll drain you. So you have to go in and cut those cords and return the energy back to its original sender. Wow. You know, I'm loving this conversation, and listeners, obviously, by all the response and all the social media chatter, this will be shared, and I invite people to share this over and over again. I am curious, and I have this question, and we're going to have you back. You just got to come back. Forget about it. It's not optional. No, okay, but absolutely loving you. You do some forensic detective type work. Tell us a little bit about that. We've got just a minute or two, but it's fascinating stuff. Well, you know, I use remote viewing, which I do feel like it's a different part of my ability that I have, where I am able to see, and I use my clairvoyance, where I'm able to see the location or tune into the energy of the person. This is not mediumship. This is more psychic work. Okay? There's a difference. And I didn't know that until I took a class by Pam Coronado to be certified as a psychic detective. And so I am able to describe what's going on or what's around or what the environment or the location looks like to help find a missing person or help find evidence that will lead to the criminal case.
Wow. And that's done just by you talking to detectives, talking to the family. How do you connect to something specific like that?
So what they do is they give you a case number, and I have to tune into that case number for that energy. So I have to describe, and it's a lot of writing, and you have to drawing to describe what's going on or what's around there. And there are times where I connect with the picture of the photo of the person or just the name, and I'm able to say what happened.
Wow. Because what was curious to me, and I'm just observing you here in the studio, the minute that somebody's voice comes on the air, it's like that one gentleman, you were like, it's your job.
Right.
So what just happened there? Because he just said, you had him at hello. Okay.
Well, it is that it automatically spirits are already talking to me. They're already telling me we need to talk about this person's career. We need to talk about their job. Yes, they're, the loved one was here, but they're more, it's almost like I was tuning into that energy. Spirit already sometimes is already there. It's almost like tuning into a radio frequency. Some frequency is a lot clearer than others, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I have to raise my vibration as spirit lowers theirs to connect to me, to have a strong connection. Wow. So that is why I'm able to just jump in. Hey,
Yeah. Wow. That's fascinating. Well, I'm sure listeners that have been listening today will share this, and it'll be a fascinating conversation. And I'm also sure that they will have lots of questions. So if someone wants to connect to you directly, how do they do that?
Now they can reach me or schedule an appointment through my website at www.victoriaalvarado.com. I'm also on Instagram, Reading by Victoria. They can find me on Facebook. I have a Facebook fan page. It's facebook.com/Psychic Victoria Alvarado. But mostly everything that you need to contact me is on my website.
So we're talking, so the website is victoriaalvarado.com. So that's easy to remember, but it'll get you there, right?
Right.
Awesome. Wow. Well, this hour just flew by, Victoria, and thank you, callers, for those great questions. See, you got me tongue-tied now. So you tell me more after. I want a #1 best-selling book. Can I? Am I going to get that?
I do see that.
You're not just saying that because you're on my talk show or anything.
No,
right?
Actually, I saw it. Remember, I told you I knew that the book was coming, so
Yes,
it's something big. I honestly have to say you're going to be giving talks about it.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. Wow, this has been a great conversation. Folks, you've been listening to Miss Victoria Alvarado, clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudient, and it's someone you want to connect to. Go to victoriaalvarado.com. We're going to share when her schedule allows her to come back on this show. This was a great conversation, so we'll line up some phone calls for you. Thank you so much, Victoria.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
The views and opinions expressed on KYND 1520 talk programs are those of the host, guest, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its owners, management, other hosts, or advertisers. Show topics on this station may include conversations on any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practices. KYND, a Synergy Broadcasting Company. From the Woodlands to Warden, on the air everywhere. The powerful 1520.